sophistry in a deceptive way. It's like, and he can't not know what you're talking about, Darth, because he's been in rooms where we talk, and he was in a
Of
yeah.
course, I've dealt with him before. He's one of the sophists. Okay?
Man.
Come on up, Piper. Let's see if you can have a conversation and not troll like you do in other rooms. Do you have the balls? No, I didn't think you did. Come on up. Good. Now let's see if we can have an adult interaction, if you are indeed an adult, and answer some simple questions about atheism. Can you do that?
Sure.
Good. Why are you an atheist?
I'm an atheist because I believe gods don't exist.
Okay, that's a redundancy.
Oh, so you
Okay.
just want an argument?
Yeah, no. Piper, listen. There's nobody else here. Okay, you don't have to play games. How old are you, Piper?
I'm 24.
Okay, I'm 61. Your
Uh-huh.
answer, there's nobody else here. I'm not playing to an audience. What you just said was profoundly stupid. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. I already know what the definition of atheism is. All you did was offer a definition of atheism that I already agree with. It didn't tell me why you believe there are no gods.
So you just want my argument then?
Hey, you're a 26-year-old young man, old enough to fight in war for your country. I ask you why you are an atheist, and all you do is you give me a definition of atheism?
So you want my argument?
Listen, you're not getting what I'm saying to you, are you? Okay?
Yeah, I'm not, honestly.
Okay. Yeah. I ask you, why are you an atheist? And what do? You give me a definition of an atheist. Do you see what you did wrong?
Not really. But if you want my argument, I can give it.
Whoa. You're 26 years old. You see, now I'm beginning to believe that you're trolling. Okay?
Okay.
All right? Or you're just dumb.
Okay.
Okay? If you ask, why are you a Republican? Why are you a Giants fan? Whatever. Just giving the definition of Republican doesn't explain why you're a Republican.
Okay.
Do you understand that what you did was not answer the question?
Sure.
All right. Now, was that on purpose, or was that just an incompetent response?
I guess it was just an incompetent response.
Yeah, okay. So let's start all over.
Okay.
How is it that you have determined that there are no gods, or more specifically, that there is no creator God?
Yeah. I mean, so I think I've given you my argument before, right? Which is specifically actually tailored to how you conceive of God. You conceive of God as what is ultimate in a mind, right?
I'm still waiting.
Well, I'm giving you my justification now.
You haven't given me one.
Well, I'm in the process, right?
You made a reference to some prior conversation. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I just want to see if we agree on what God is. God is what is ultimate in a mind, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I take a mind to be something like conscious experience, right? And I don't think conscious experience can be ultimate because conscious experience requires something to be experienced.
Yeah, that was really bad. So, in other words, one cannot be entirely self-conscious of themselves.
I'm not sure what that even means.
I mean, really? Look,
No, yeah,
do you
I don't
think
think
I've
that
been
means
doing
anything.
this for 10 to 12 years? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you think I've heard more than my fair share of lame responses?
I mean, do you have a counter argument?
Okay. When I ask a question, I'm as serious as a heart attack when I ask a question, and I'm looking for a response. Do you think
Yeah.
I've heard more than my fair share of lame responses that are
Sure.
simply deployed as a diversionary tactic?
Sure.
One of them is, well, I don't even know what that would mean. Do you know how many times I've heard that silly
Well, I'm just
response?
asking you to clarify.
Sir, you mean somebody can't be self-conscious of themselves?
Yeah,
That's not
clarify what that means.
that's not an experience that you're self-conscious of yourself?
Yeah, just clarify what that
Okay,
means.
is being self-conscious of something, is that an experience?
Self-conscious of something?
Yeah, if somebody is conscious of something, is that an
Yes,
experience?
that's experience, yeah.
Okay, well, how about that something is yourself?
So you have to spell out what that means for me.
Okay, we're not playing this little game, okay? You are doing
You don't want to
precisely
clarify?
what the atheists do. Listen to me. Listen, Mr. 26-year-old little boy,
So you
okay?
don't want to
I've
clarify.
I've I've listen. I don't want to have to kick you, okay?
Okay.
You're wasting my time with the same childish atheist trolling tactic. It's more in the form of passive aggressiveness than it is blatant trolling. Now, so in other words, God cannot exist because you have a particular belief. Why does it follow that God can only exist if you have a particular belief?
I don't think that's the argument I gave you.
Okay, now you're making a statement, you're making a universal dictum and using that universal dictum as a negator for God, right?
What was the universal
Is
dictum?
God or not God a universal dictum?
Okay. So I'm saying not God. Okay.
Okay,
But
so let's slow
that's
down, slow
like,
down, slow down.
all
So
right.
God or not God, regardless of how it may be expressed, both God and not God are a universal dictum. Are we
Sure.
agreed on that? Okay.
We're agreed
Now,
on that.
what you are expressing to me is a universal dictum that is a negator for another universal dictum, which is God,
Okay.
right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how are you able in a not God world to instantiate any universal dictum?
To instantiate a universal dictum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That
I
it is
just
the
take
case, that
universal
something is the
dictums.
case. Yeah.
Yeah, I just take
Are
universal
you
dictums.
capable in a not God world to defend or instantiate how any universal declaration is true?
Yeah, so I just take universal declarations to be kinds of propositions, right?
No, listen,
I don't
listen,
see how
listen,
God is
listen,
required for.
listen to me. You're giving me the typical response of the sophist atheist. You're not
Okay.
addressing the question. When you sit there going, I take it to be, I take it to be. Listen, I wasn't born yesterday, okay?
Okay.
I'm more than double your age. Your strategy here is not
Uh-huh.
fooling me. I don't
All right.
care when you go, well, I take it to be, okay?
Yeah.
You are invoking a universal dictum, a universal
Uh-huh.
declaration. Now, how can you establish that it is the case for any universal dictum?
Yeah, so like I said, I think universal dictums are just kinds of propositions.
You're not addressing the question, okay?
You make the
What
question
you're
more clear for
doing,
me?
listen carefully. You're doing what the sophist atheists do all the time, okay? I've been dealing with atheist sophists for years, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm not interested in you giving me a little mini soliloquy about what you believe. I want you to answer the question. How is it even possible for you to ground and establish that it is the case any universal declaration?
So I'm not sure what it means to ask, how can any declaration be
I'm
grounded? I don't
going
know what
to
that means.
kick you from the room. You
I
persist
mean, that's
with these
fine, but that's not going to
diversionary
make that
responses.
gibberish
Listen
less
to me
gibberish.
carefully. Listen to me. You know my track record. You know I don't put up with sophism and bullshit responses. I don't have to agree with you when you speak. But if what comes out of your mouth is not specifically germane to the question that I've asked,
Well, I
and it's
think the
clear
question
to
that you
me,
asked
okay,
is
I'm going to
gibberish.
kick you if you overtalk me. Again, you are trolling in a passive aggressive manner.
Okay.
That's what the title of the room is about. I wasn't born yesterday. Now,
Okay.
your verbal strategery may work on low-hanging fruit. It doesn't work on me. You are
Yeah.
not answering the question. I will give you one more chance, okay, to answer the question. I don't have to agree with it, but if you give me a response, which it is clear to me, which is just simply a verbal evasion while pretending to answer the question, bye-bye. Now, how do you establish that it is necessarily the case, any universal declaration? By what means can you do so?
I think pretty much all declarations are going to be substantiated by argument and evidence.
Okay, you have 10 seconds to answer the question. That was the last
So,
dodge
in
of
what way did that
sophistry you're
not
going.
answer the question?
Okay, goodbye. Goodbye.
Okay, see ya.
Okay. Yeah, bye. You see, there's two kinds of atheist sophists and trolls. Some are blatant in that they're overtly obnoxious. Then we have the atheist trolls who respond in a deceitful, passive aggressive manner by not transparently answering the question. Now, for everyone in the room, you were not here when he first came in. Okay? Now, he likes to present himself as an intelligent atheist. So I asked him a direct question. Why are you an atheist? Okay? You know what his response was? Just to verbalize a definition of atheism. Okay? Oh, I'm an atheist because I don't believe in any gods. That doesn't tell me why you're an atheist. You just gave me the definition of an atheist. And he was almost incredulous when I confronted him the fact that that was not a substantive response. All he did was giving me a definition of atheism, not the basis why atheism is true. And then the rest of the interaction, which some of you heard, he just kept on giving me sophist, evasive responses. Okay? Like, oh, I don't know quite what you mean by that. Oh, well, I take it to mean blah, blah, blah. How many times did you hear me ask him, how do you establish that it is the case, any universal declaration? And he kept on dodging.
Yeah. Sophistry in a deceptive way. And he can't not know what you're talking about, Darth, because he's been in rooms where we talk, and he was in a
Of
yeah.
course, I've dealt with him before. He's one of the sophists. Okay?
Man.
He is clearly a sophist, and he's purposely giving evasive responses while pretending to give a germane answer to the question, and he knew it wasn't.
Yeah, because it's like facts. What is a fact? And
Yeah,
then he'll
yeah.
turn out and say that's a fact, but
And you
what
know
is a
what? I warned him. Over and over and again before some of you were even in the room, multiple times before some of you were here, and even after you were here, I warned him over and over again, stop with the evasive responses that are a pretense that you're answering the question when you're really not. You
yeah,
see,
Darth.
it's certainly legitimate at times to explain your point of view. You know, I take it to mean this, or to ask for clarification, but they use it as a deception. Okay. Welcome, Joe. What would you like to say?
Hello, Darth. So I wasn't really here earlier, but what was your question to Piper?
Um, well, I asked him, "Why are you an atheist?" But before I asked that, I said to him, "When you come up here," I said, "are you willing to not troll either by being obnoxious or to engage in passive aggressive, uh, deceptive responses?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, I will." And then what he proceeded to do was do a line after line after line of passive aggressive, deceptive, and evasive responses. So that's finally when I kicked him. because there's only so much of this that I'm going to take. I warned him. I wasn't born yesterday, okay? He's 26 years old. I'm more than double his age. I make no claims to being a genius, but I'm not stupid. I know when people are being evasive with me, okay? And when they're warned several times, stop with the sophist, evasive responses. You don't have to give me an answer that I agree with. All you got to do is give an answer, whether I agree with it or not, that is not a purposeful evasion.
Okay, so I'll agree that I won't troll. So just for the record,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not particularly an atheist. Um, I'm currently a seeker of truth, so I would call myself an agnostic. So
Okay,
are there
I
any,
don't accept your claim.
and why is that?
Why? Because my ultimate authority, which is the mind of God and how he has reveals it, contradicts your claim. So God
And
is my expert. Have you ever seen Pawn Stars?
no, I have not.
Okay, Pawn Stars is a TV show about a pawn shop in Las Vegas. People bring in all sorts of old stuff all the time, including antiques and memorabilia. And they will bring in experts to come in and evaluate, okay, people who have expertise in these particular areas, like with guns or Hollywood memorabilia, or experts on the Civil War, things like that. And the expert will, basically do a general overview of what they're expecting to find, and then they'll do an analysis and say, this is not the genuine thing, or they will say, this is the real thing. Okay? Now, you have made a claim that you're a truth seeker, and you've made a claim that you're not agnostic. Being that I am a Bible believing Christian, and the mind of God, as opposed to the mind of man, is the ultimate authority, the God of the Bible says you're a liar. Okay?
Okay, so it seems that you're taking for granted the word of the Bible. So I'm wondering whether or not
And you're
what
taking
you're,
for granted that the mind of man is the ultimate authority, aren't you?
well, the mind of man is immediate, right? How do I
Sir,
know that
listen
the,
carefully. Listen carefully. Either the mind of God and how he reveals it will be the final court of appeal, and if not, the mind of man will be. Now, do you accept that dichotomy?
could you repeat that?
Either the mind of God will be deemed to be the ultimate authority and how he reveals it, or the mind of man will be deemed to be the ultimate authority.
Well, this dichotomy only seems to hold meaning when we accept or rather presuppose the existence of
What was
some
the
site.
question that I asked you?
Well, the question is more like a trap. You're framing it in the
What
way
was,
that,
okay, see now, what you're doing is precisely the very thing that I criticize. You're talking around the question. You are being evasive. Okay? What was the question that I asked you?
okay, so you told me. Actually, you wanted me to answer about a dichotomy, whether the mind of
No, I
some,
said, what I have said, is it a true dichotomy? Do you accept and believe that it is true, that it is a true dichotomy?
between whether or not
The
the
mind
mind
of
of,
God and how he reveals it is the ultimate authority or not.
well, I wouldn't know what that means unless there is
Okay.
some
Do you know
meaningful.
what the law of excluded middle is?
Well, of course, but the
Good.
law of
Now, in
excluded
the
middle doesn't.
excluded middle, we have A or not A. It's either A, which is a placeholder for a proposition, A, or not A. Do you accept that as a true dichotomy?
Well, I accept that the law of excluded middle is valid, right? But
Okay,
do you
that is
really
an
think that the
evasive
law of
response.
excluded middle can be used meaningfully
If you give
to?
me another evasive response, I'm going to kick you. You have shown a pattern of behavior that you are prevaricating. I have repeatedly asked you clear, circumspect questions. You have prevaricated a number of times. Now, do you realize, are you cognizant of the fact that the last question I asked you, you completely dodged it?
Well, I wouldn't say I dodged it. I'd rather
So you
say that,
are denying that you dodged my question. You're denying it?
yeah, I'm not
Okay.
dodging a
Now, what was
question.
the question that I asked you?
Which ones? You asked multiple.
The last one
Last one, it
that you
was something
dodged.
about
Right.
whether or not I accepted
A
there was a
or
true
not
dichotomy.
A is a true dichotomy.
Yeah, if it's just A or not A, right, as variables,
Is
then
Not
A
sure.
or
A.
not A true dichotomy?
Sure. If it's just
Okay, wow. You
undefined
get a straight
variables.
answer. Now, all I have to do is plug in a value for A and it still is a true dichotomy, right?
Well, that depends.
No, it doesn't
Because
depend.
if you
As
plug
long
in
as all I
non-existent
have to do is
No.
objects.
plug in a
Oh my God.
value for A.
Okay, hold on.
The
So
apple is entirely red or not.
the
The
law of excluded
moon
middle
is
cannot be
made
used
of
meaningfully
okay,
when you
listen to
talk
me.
about non-existent
Listen to me.
Yo.
objects, Darth.
Listen to me. I'm almost at the point where I'm going to kick you because you are in a passive aggressive manner being deceitful with me. Now, listen carefully. A or not A is a true dichotomy. All I have to do is plug in a value for A and it still remains a true dichotomy. The moon is made of entirely of green cheese or not.
Oh, okay.
Is that a true
I see what your mistake is.
dichotomy?
Okay, Darth, I see what your mistake here is. You're
Okay, all
confusing
right.
the form with the
Goodbye.
No,
context,
it's
Goodbye.
not.
right?
A. Oh
Sure,
my God.
sure.
You
Goodbye.
don't get
Okay,
it, Joe.
he's gone. Okay, I kicked that little deceptive little weasel.
I don't get
Okay,
it, Doug.
I
It's
didn't kick
simple.
him because he's disagreeing. He's absolutely being blatantly deceptive. This is the little game that these little intellectual weasels play. Okay? It is absolutely disgusting how deceitful these people are and
You
will
know, you
be.
gotta love it, Darth, when these people just make up fallacies in their head to argue against uncontroversial
What they
matters.
do is this is the game that they play, okay? This is how the gears turn in their head, metaphorically speaking. Whenever somebody says something that they know that they should accept as true, they will verbalize contrarianism to that, whether or not they agree with it, because they don't want to concede to the point because you're trying to build on that to a conclusion. Or
The
they don't
state.
want to concede to a point because it has ramifications that they don't like one way or another. Now, when I said the moon is made of entirely of green cheese or not,
Hmm?
that is a true dichotomy.
Yeah.
And he was arguing with me over
Oh
that.
my goodness. These guys are something. It's A or not A. The
Okay?
statement, yeah. No proposition.
Now, he
This is
was
why I was
warned.
saying that he's finding fallacies to argue against where they don't exist.
He's just that it's called contrarianism. 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 Contrarianism.